Aloha. I get asked about this topic a lot, so I wanted to take a moment to explain something that could save you thousands on your next home. VA Assumables. Whether you're active duty, a veteran, or just curious about VA benefits, stay tuned. This could change everything. First things first, what are VA Assumables? Simply put, a VA Assumable loan is a VA home loan that can be transferred from the current homeowner to a new buyer. And this can be a huge benefit because the new buyer can take over original terms of the loan, including the interest rate, which might be lower than the current rates. Let's look at some key benefits. Number one, like I already mentioned, potential for lower interest rates. Number two, lower closing costs since the existing loan terms carry over. And number three, the ability to buy a home without needing a new mortgage. Here's a quick example. Imagine John, a veteran, bought a home in 2021 with the VA loan at a 3% interest rate. Now, 3 years later, Maria, who's eligible for a VA loan, can take over John's loan instead of getting a new one. She benefits from the great 3% interest rate, which is much lower than today's rates, which are around 6 to 6.5%. To make this happen, both John and Maria need to go through the approval process, and the lender, as well as the VA, will check Maria's credit and income to ensure that she's qualified. Once approved, Maria takes over the loan and John is off the hook. Now let's talk about eligibility. VA loans are typically assumed by other VA eligible individuals, like active duty military members or veterans. While it's technically possible for someone who's not eligible to assume the loan, it's less common. Why? Because if a non-VA buyer takes over the loan, the original homeowner loses that portion of their VA loan benefits, and this could prevent them from using their VA benefits for a new home purchase, for example, at a new duty station. VA Assumables are really big deal right now because interest rates were super low around 2021 and have since gone up quickly. While today's VA loan rates around 6 to 6.5% aren't historically high, they're much higher than 2021. And back then, lower rates led to bidding wars, which buyers often paying more for their homes, which closes that gap. Also, Oahu has 4 military branches on the island, and we military members usually move every 3 years. So there's a lot of veterans selling every year when they move to a new duty station. The gap a buyer needs to cover gets bigger and bigger more time passes as the mortgage gets paid down by principal. For example, a $1 million home with a 1% interest rate difference can mean $12,000 per year less of a mortgage payment, which is $1,000 per month. In summary, VA Assumables can be a fantastic option for veterans and their families, especially in today's market. With current interest rates much higher than they were a few years ago, assuming an older VA loan with a lower rate can save you a lot of money. But there's more to consider. One key aspect is the gap that I already mentioned. The buyer might need to cover this gap because the current value might be higher than the remaining loan balance, and the buyer has to come up with this difference, either through a second loan or through cash. Also, the assumption process can take longer to close than a traditional sale, often because of the detailed approval steps. A year ago, it used to take a lot longer, sometimes up to 8 months. But in our case, because we did a VA Assumable, it took us 5 months. But nowadays, mortgage lenders have put processes in place to make the transfer quicker, which I heard of is taking around 2.5 to 4 months now, though there's no guarantee. To avoid delays about moving in, buyers can negotiate early occupancy, and this allows you to move in before closing is finalized, giving you peace of mind and a place to call home without waiting. And you can agree to paying rent or something like that to the seller. And now, don't worry, there's other options to lower your monthly payments. For example, you can consider a 2-1 buydown, which means negotiating something called seller credit that can be used to buy down the interest rate. I recently had clients with 5.99% interest rate who used a $20,000 seller credit to buy down their rate. So in the first year, their rate was 3.99%, in the second year, 4.99%, and in the second year, 5.99%, until the mortgage gets refinanced or is paid off. The interest rate is lower initially because the interest rate is paid ahead of time with the seller credit, and essentially you're paying the interest up front to reduce the rate temporarily. Please consult with your lender before for more details. As you guys know, I'm a real estate agent and not a lender. Thanks for watching, and if you found this helpful, give me a like. Follow me for more tips on VA benefits and home buying, and see you guys next time.